The series becomes increasingly legit.
As our hearts grow in fondness. In the greatest surprise, I, an incredible cynic and literature critic, have been won over by Jack Wayland, author of the American novel.
Charly. Yeah, this is actually very surprising. I knew I would be this into it, realistically, but based on your past behavior with the Provo Bachelor,
I really
which
went
people
kicking
still
and
want
screaming.
us to react to.
I guess there is a season 3 we didn't know about.
I guess
How did
there
that fly
is.
under our radar?
I don't know. Maybe it was the pandemic, but somehow it got away from us.
Okay, wait, really quick. We just have to do a shout out to Bo Burnham's Inside.
Bo Burnham's new comedy special on Netflix, Inside.
A masterpiece.
Such
I knew
a
it was
master-
going
I
to be
knew
good.
it would be.
I knew it was going to be good, and then I was like,
Yeah. All right, well, Charly Chapter 4. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I wonder how he was able to pay for his dream of writing not only a perfect, I feel like he really captured both the personal Mormon hero's journey as well as educated us on the true nature of love and relationships.
I know, we're only 3 chapters in.
I wonder what kind of truth bombs he's going to be dropping on us throughout.
I think he's just setting the scene so far. Like, we haven't even got to, like, the...
Wow, the really mean... What if we end up getting reconverted through this book?
Oh, my God. It's, like, Jack Wayland's, like, final victory before he dies.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Okay, let's go. Near the end of August, we were walking around a department store on a Saturday afternoon. We had just passed the maternity clothes. "How many children do you want, Sam?" she asked. It's like the first time Charlie's mentioned in the chapter, so I feel like it's a bit weird to say she instead of Charly asked. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but just
yeah.
a small thing. Modelling one of the dresses from the rack.
Just disidentified female body.
Female protagonist asked. "At least 6. So many. How come? Religious reasons?" "That's right. 6 kids. Nearly a baseball team. They come one at a time. That way you can make all your mistakes on the first one." "Easy, fella. I was the first one."
I'm sorry. This seems like he's saying... It feels like every single phrase I ever heard from my childhood put in, like, one of those spinning lottery balls, and it's like, religious reasons, baseball team.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with men having an idea of how many kids they want. But when men have too rigid of an idea about how many kids they want to have, it is a little bit gross to me, because it's like, well, you don't have to, like, incubate them for 9 months.
Yeah.
It's just like... yeah, sure, you want a big family, whatever, but maybe just, like, play it by ear, see how she's doing with it, or see how you're doing with it. You don't even know,
Yeah, I bet that's, like, an unconscious or conscious thing in so many Mormon mothers' minds of, like, this expectation to be doing more than what they know their body
when they
can or ought
get
to
married
do.
to this guy who's like, "I want 8 kids, like, I've always wanted a big family as big as mine," or whatever, and then it's like there's pressure for women to have 8 kids. I cannot imagine.
What?
Oof. A while later, we walked by the toy department and a row of dolls. She picked up 6, but one fell down. "I can't get 6, Sam," she said, putting down all the dolls except one.
Isn't 6 Satan's number?
"I'll be a good mother, Sam. As good as if I'd grown up in Utah." Hate that she's adopted that mentality that, like, Mormons are the best mothers, Utah Mormon mothers are the best. Like, that's just offensive.
This is so sad.
I
And
know.
he's, like, outright told her, like, well, sorry, I was just expecting someone from Utah. It's kind of what God intended.
Yeah, she's already got a complex. And it's cringy because it's like, she's the convert in the story, but the story's written by a Mormon. So it's like, this is a choice you're making, and you're like, it's portrayed as a good thing in the story, right? Like, she gets completely converted.
I guess.
We got what we needed, but on the way out, I remembered I had meant to buy a coupling for our water hose. Since she was not really interested, we agreed to separate and meet later. She coyly suggested the jewelry counter.
Oh, what would be at the jewelry counter? I'm curious.
I found the hardware section and the coupling quickly, but then ran into a former missionary companion and his wife.
Wait, sorry, is
and
this
baby.
a hardware store / jewelry
Tana,
jeweler?
It's a department store. They have everything.
Okay.
Okay?
He's in Sears.
R.I.P. Sears. So runs into mission companion wife baby. We talked for 10 minutes. When I finally arrived at the jewelry counter, Charly wasn't there. After waiting for a while, I started to walk around to see if I could find her. After walking aimlessly around the store for a few minutes... Okay, it's not aimless if you have a goal of finding something. You have a stated aim. But whatever. I heard a strangely familiar voice over the PA system. Oh, I know. This is another one of her, like, yelling on the boat moments. She loves these. Every chapter. Sammy, do you hear me? This is Mummy. The nice men in the store let me talk to you on their big radio. Sammy, wherever you are in the store, stop and listen to Mummy. I stopped and looked around to see if anyone was looking at me. Sammy, darling, if you can hear me, listen carefully. Remember when Mummy bought you a big bag of popcorn last week? Sam, go to the popcorn machine and Mummy will be there. Do you understand? The popcorn place. Mummy has a big bag of popcorn for you. Mummy loves you, dear. The man standing next... Thoughts?
I'm just going to quickly psychoanalyze this.
It's a lot.
I think he's into it. I think this is a sign of he likes this dynamic and it will play out. Not mentioned by Jack Wayland, but subtly offered to us on a platter. Yeah. That he has mommy issues.
Yes, but it seems...
Or into mummy play.
Well, but doesn't it... Oh, I see what you're saying. I was kind of thinking it seems... Because she's acting pretty childish in a lot of these situations, right? She's not acting like a PhD student. It's pretty childish and like, I don't know. So I feel like maybe he likes being kind of... Because he kind of acts like her dad a lot of the time. You know, he's like, well, teaching her stuff and being like, you need to calm down or, you know. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he likes her playing more of a little girl role.
And but I think he also likes seeing her as in a motherly role and wants to be little Boyd. And...
Wants to be little Boyd.
And I think that's why... I think Jack Wayland is giving us insight.
Okay. I believe
you know how those wires cross?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jack Wayland's mind. It's just like...
Jack Wayland's ways are higher than our ways.
6 levels deeper than I'm ready for. A man standing next to me grabbed a handkerchief and blew his nose. Poor little guy, he muttered to himself. I stormed over to the popcorn machine. There was Charly with a bag of popcorn in her hand and a CD she had bought. I got a passion for you, she smiled, referring to the CD. I grabbed her arm and escorted her out of the store. Sam, do you like Bach? She asked. Is that how you say Bach? Back?
Do you like Bach?
Okay.
Yeah, Bach.
I kept marching. You're mad at me, aren't you? Did you find your boy? A security guard asked as we breezed by. Big for his age, isn't he? Get in, I ordered when we reached the Jeep. Yes, sir, she teased.
She identifies as a brat, officially.
I climbed in and glared at her as she nonchalantly munched her popcorn. Why don't you grow up? You think the world is made for your amusement?
Yes.
Is that a rhetorical question, or do you want an answer? What if there'd been an emergency? You just think you can tie up their PA system for your own amusement? Attention shoppers, she mimicked. There's a blue light special this hour on shredded muslin at $2 a yard. You call that an emergency? There is such a thing as responsibility, I shot back. I'm sure there is, and there's also such a thing as being a stuffed shirt. I drove like a madman. See, I'm like, that's already the bigger crime in the situation. Driving like a madman, literally endangering your lives.
So much worse than tying up the Sears's PA system.
Seriously, like what are the chances they're going to need that? Screeching to a stop in front of her house, I turned to her and unleashed my big attack. You talk about marriage. Well, I'm not ready to get married to someone who hasn't grown up yet. Why do you have to be such a self-righteous bore? She jumped out, started up the steps, stopped, paused, and then rushed back to me.
Good question.
A lot happened in that sentence. Sam, I really should apologize. Okay. I didn't offer you any popcorn, did I? And that was when she dumped the entire contents of the bag over my head and stormed into her house. Damn. She's playful. I suppose I planned to let her stew for a couple of days before calling her to tell her she was forgiven. But when I finally called on Tuesday, her mother told me Charly had decided to go back to New York early for school. Yes. She didn't want me to write or call or ever see her again. For a solid week, I tried to reach her. When I finally obtained her phone number and called, she hung up on me. Damn, she's got staying power. About a month later, the dozen letters I had written showed up in a large envelope, unopened. In the meantime, I had gone back to BYU. There are 10,000 eligible girls at BYU. He's not picky. It's like the entire female student body. To get over my grief, I decided to date as many as possible. With good time management and taking advantage of all the free activities, I set a goal to take out 12 different girls each week.
That is
like
insane.
2 a
That's
day.
more. What? Double dipping? Jack.
That sounds exhausting. At first, it was fun. It was like being an alcoholic locked in a wine cellar. One hardly knew where to begin. Why would you use a metaphor for something you... Do you concentrate on blondes for a month and then move on? Or do you focus on California girls first and then move eastward? Just completely characterizing these women by the color of their hair and where they live.
There are 2 types of women. Blondes and Californians.
And non-blondes. One thing I learned to avoid was dating too many girls from my own ward. It starts talk when girls realize you've taken 4 of them from their dorm to the same campus movie on one weekend.
You're seeing the same movie?
Sketch, you loser.
Oh.
The point with high volume dating is don't get involved.
What the hell?
What's the point of going on these dates then? I'm assuming he's not kissing them, or maybe he is and he's a bad boy.
Oh. No, he's too self-righteous.
Yeah. To the freshman girls, you talk about how soon you want to get married. To the senior girls, you tell them you're thinking about changing your major and starting all over again. To one waiting for a missionary, you talk about how few girls have the strength of character to wait and how much you admire her for what she's doing.
So put down other women.
Lovely. Ask her to show you a picture of her missionary. My parents were pleased I was dating again and had forgotten about Charly. The trouble was, I hadn't.
Hang on, that was some toxic ass
I
bullshit.
know. He's like, I dated 2 girls a day to get over this East Coast girl.
Yeah, and like the whole reason to batch date all these people and sit through the same goddamn movie night after night twice a day is because you're trying to not get involved.
Yeah.
And you have these like little plans for how to lead them on and make them feel good by putting down other people. This is insanely toxic shit.
Yeah, women do not exist to help you get over your grief, and it doesn't sound like you're doing a very good job at that anyway, so basically you're just an idiot.
None of them are an Easterner, which I didn't even know was a type of woman.
Didn't even know.
Are we clear if Charly is a blonde?
She is both a blonde and an Easterner.
But not a Californian. I guess there are 3 types of women.
No, true, yeah. I was miserable. A man dying of thirst in the middle of a freshwater lake. The crazy thing was that exactly those qualities of Charly's that drove me up the wall were the ones I couldn't forget. After her, talking to any other girl was boring. Charly kept me off balance all the time. That's always a good quality in a relationship.
I'd like to feel kind of dizzy when I'm in love.
Constant chaos is what I'm most comfortable with romantically.
Our vertigo.
Like when we'd be in a restaurant and I'd say, please pass the salt. And she'd say, well, sure, that's easy for you to say. I don't get it. Please pass the salt. Well, sure.
Where even are you?
We'd be in a restaurant and I'd say, please pass the salt. And she'd say, well, sure, that's easy for you to say. What the hell does that mean?
I think it's just showing how random she is. Please pass
She's
the
just
salt.
so random.
Well, that's easy for you to say. Oh, she's being salty?
No, that that seems not timely for this book. Or when we went once to the University of Utah bookstore and she announced that I was a student at BYU and thought that the U of U was one of the most decadent schools in the West. And did anyone there want to argue with me?
I think that's probably based on real things that he said.
Yeah. Why is our battery flashing?
How could this happen to us?
I can switch it.
We paid tithing for like 25 years.
What is it? Is it like Jack Whalen thinks that the U of U is decadent? Because I know that BYU Mormons will like demonize the U because it's a secular school.
Yeah.
What does decadent mean for an educational institution?
They tolerate the gays. They don't kick people out for having sex.
So not decadent in terms of like building
rich
expenses.
Maybe that too.
I don't feel like BYU Mormons demonize the rich.
No, they don't. They really love the rich.
Anyway, we'll change our battery and come back to that.
Remember how Jesus was all like, rich people have it figured out. Rich people will get into heaven. It'll be so easy for them to get into heaven.
All right, so he was just remembering the stunt she pulled in the U of U bookstore. The other girls were so predictable. You asked them to pass the salt, and they did. One girl I spent a lot of time with was Kay Randall.
Oh, I want to see this played out. We should make our own Charly film. Mm-hmm. Apparently, it's been in multiple media. This battery's flashing again.
I know.
How could this happen? We're going on the phone. Multiple people have mentioned the Bechdel test in reference to this movie.
Someone was like, it doesn't even show up.
No.
We just responded to the worst Ted Callister talk in the universe while our battery was charging for this. So if we seem a little frazzled,
sorry
that's
for the
why.
Shift in demeanor.
I really have been brought down, but we persist.
My favorite pick-me-up.
Her name
Mormon
was...
romance literature.
Her name was Kay Randall. We both were studying computer science and had several classes together. In November, feeling guilty about never having asked her out, I invited her to a movie. Let's say you take the worst possible case she droned on over a piece of pie in an off-campus restaurant after the movie. Suppose you have a loss of cooling accident. What should you do? I assume that's a computer science thing, right?
Also, pot, meat, kettle. No one
I
drums more than you.
I know. It's like, have you offered one thought more interesting than that? This entire book. What? I asked. Aren't you listening? No, you're really boring me, I confessed. Okay, so he's mean and has no social skills. Great.
We're supposed to celebrate them getting together like this is some great achievement.
It's so unhinged to say, no, you're boring me to a girl that you asked out because you felt guilty for not asking her out.
You've known long enough to get a glimpse of her personality. If you thought she was boring, don't ask her on a date. Don't do it out of guilt.
Also, you're in the same major. Like, she's trying to connect with you about what you're both...
I realize my nervous system is still heightened from Tadar Callister and I'm feeling triggered.
We should have done some star jumps before this.
For real. God.
I thought you'd appreciate my program. How about if we go to the airport at Salt Lake and pretend that you've just gotten off a plane from Yugoslavia, can't speak a word of English, and I'm your boyfriend?
Let's do a little role play.
You just told us she was boring. That's a long way to drive for a kiss. I don't want to kiss you. I just want some excitement. Thanks a lot. She good-naturedly frowned. I would not be good-natured about that. I'd be like, what the hell is up with you? Or how about if we go to a Chinese restaurant and pretend we're spies and pass secret notes to each other? That sounds really juvenile to me. Right, let's be juvenile. Why? I'm tired of being mature. Yeah, nothing says mature like telling your date she's boring you and not listening when someone's talking. So mature.
Also, this is not a real concern at BYU.
I know. The
youth
most infantilized population of students known to man.
They're like, let's dress up and watch our favorite Disney movie!
The Tad angst is definitely going to get transferred into this guy. So, like, Jack Wayland, it's not personal.
And yet.
I'm tired of being mature. It's no fun. Kay, let me ask you a personal question, okay? Well, I guess so. Do you have a things to do list? That's a personal question, yes. Me too. And every morning, do you write down what you want to accomplish that day? Then when you've done it, you check it off the list. He's craving excitement, and this is his conversation.
He's really bringing it. You can't just hold out for exciting people to wander into your life and sweep you off your feet. If you want to be excited, be exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Don't, like, use this woman that you've also treated like shit to just, like, be your source of excitement.
Your vibe attracts your tribe, dude.
Sure, I do that. Isn't it terrible, I groaned. I don't see anything terrible about it. Don't you? It's ruining our lives. He sounds like he's, like, just taken psychedelics for the first time. He's like, I'm done with all these to-do lists every day.
It's the dates one non-Mormon girl.
So true. I pulled a 3x5 card from my shirt pocket. Here's mine today. Do laundry. Put on snow tires. Take Kay out. At the end of our date, I'm going to put a check beside take Kay out. So you're just one more thing on the list with dirty clothes and bald tires. You do not deserve Charly. You're being so shit.
This is the fantasy, though, is that you could be the worst human being, the worst guy.
But it's okay because you're going through something. But it's never okay when other people are going through things and they do things you don't like.
And the reason you're going through things is because of your own stupidity, because you were acting an asshole to somebody.
Yeah, what would Tad have to say about this?
Tad would be like, this is a pillar of modern malehood morality. And I can't stand to see the desecration of the modern family. A woman in school.
Computer science, no less. She looked out the window. Did you get the snow tires on? I looked out and saw the snow falling in large fluffy flakes. It's so beautiful, isn't it? I sighed. Just think, the first snow of winter. It's going to make driving rotten, she complained. They're like setting this woman up as just like some complainy, joyless woman. It's like that's been your whole personality, yet you have no empathy for her. Suddenly, more than anything in the world, I wanted to be with Charly to enjoy that snowstorm. Since I couldn't do that, I decided to do what she would have done. Hey everybody, I called out. Let's all go outside. It's the first snowfall of the season. Why don't we go out and have a giant snowball fight? How about it, hey? I'm sold.
That would have worked at BYU, I think.
I know,
BYU,
it
Idaho,
definitely
for
would.
sure.
The other customers looked at me strangely. Hoping to drum up a little support, I approached a teenage couple, both about 16. You'd like that, wouldn't you? I said enthusiastically, leaning over the booth toward them. We'll go outside and throw snow at each other. Okay, creepy.
Yeah.
The girl was
Chill,
obviously terrified, and she melted into her boyfriend's side for protection. He slowly reached one hand towards his steak knife. God. I turned to those at the counter. How about it? This couple's going out with us, and we're going to have a lot of fun throwing snowballs at each other. They're not afraid of doing something spontaneous and fun. Are you? As I turned to face the couple again, they rushed past me, tossed down some money on the register, and raced to his car. In a few seconds, they were gone. Oh, I see. You're all too mature for a little snowball fight. Is that it?
This is the exact energy of like, I am outraged that you guys don't care as much about the thing I just learned 10 minutes ago.
I know. No one is talking about this.
I was forced into being spontaneous, and I hated it, and called her a colossal bitch and insulted her, and that's why she ran out on me. And now I learned the true meaning of spontaneity, and y'all are just a bunch of boring assholes.
And then he calls the girl who's not like that, the one that he insulted Charly for not being like, he then insults her too. So it's like, no woman can win. Well, I'm really ashamed of you all. What's going on here? A voice behind
People
me
have
barked.
fucking lives. Chill, dude.
I turned around to face a policeman. I thought it'd be fun if we had a snowball fight, I lamely explained. Arrest him, a little old lady demanded. He's on dope and he's dangerous. I'm not dangerous. I just want to live. Charly would have gone out with me and had a snowball fight. Who's Charly? The cop asked. A girl I used to date.
Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Also, if this was Rexburg, he would have actually been arrested because it is illegal to throw snowballs in that state.
Really?
And there was no first fall of the season. It's winter all year long.
Kay paid our bill and approached the policeman. I'm with him. Normally he's a very rational person. He's harmless. If you want, I'll make sure he gets home. I'll even drive him home if you like. You sure you'll be okay with him? Yes, come on, Sam. I'll take you home. Okay, she's being way too nice, considering he was just a giant jerk to her.
Yeah. They're also showing kind of how Truman showy Provo is. Like, one person's like, let's have a snowball fight, and everyone's like, shit, this guy's on drugs.
We walked to the Jeep. I made the mistake of looking up. Near the light from the street lamp, patterns of snow softly swirled down. A halo of light made each flake look like a saint. Nice going, snowflakes, I said quietly. Sam, let me drive.
I purred quietly.
Nice going, corn plants. Sam, give me your keys.
Ew, I hate this.
It's like she's already offered to like get him out of this situation with a policeman and drive him home, and then he still is just
the most
just
annoying
no
person.
Respect for her. Nice going, Ferris
Good
wheel.
going Ferris wheel.
Sam, the keys, please. The cop's looking at you funny.
Oh, it's just a thing I used to shame somebody for doing.
Nice going,
Nice
light beams.
going.
Unless you want to spend the night in jail, quit making eyes at the lamppost. I gave her the keys. As she walked to the driver's side, I scooped some snow off the ground and made a snowball.
Honestly, a little dope would do this guy some good.
Seriously, he needs it right now. As we left the parking lot, I gently lobbed it toward the restaurant. It hit the window, splashed, and slowly slid down the glass. He definitely has the energy of, like, the guy at the party that needs to get wasted because he's, like, low-key probably an alcoholic and is like, you guys are no fun, because no one else wants to get wasted with him, and it's just sad. She drove me home and then listened to me rattle on about Charly for another hour. Kay, I've never asked this of anyone, and I can't ask my parents, but could I borrow some money from you for a few weeks? How much? She asked. Whatever it takes to get to New York and back again.
You're gonna...
The disrespect!
I cannot believe this.
This girl, and this is just normalizing the idea that Mormon women just exist to serve men. You openly insulted her multiple times, completely disrespected her, didn't, like, even thank her for anything. You were, like, actively causing her trouble when she was trying to take you home. It's...
I I hope Jack Wayland is playing 5D chess right now, because
Yeah, I hope
it
that we're supposed to
seems
hate
like
him.
he's tacitly...
It's like, this is not a man who's ready to go into a marriage with anybody. I don't care. It's not about whether or not Charlie's the girl for him and Kay, whatever her name is, isn't. It's like, this man is not ready for marriage.
No, he's not ready for anything. He's gonna grow up to be Tadar fucking Callister.
He wishes.
Oh, this is Tad. This is the story of Tad.
This is Tad. Oh, God. Why did that? That felt extra depressing.
Because of Tad! Damn it! Fuck you, Tad!
Everything bad in my life right now is because of Tad or Callister.
At the root of all my problems is Tad R.
He's
Callister.
a tiny
You
Tad.
could just address...
Inside every problem is a smaller Tad. I don't know. I got nothing.
It's Tad's all the way down.
It's Tad's all the way down. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. What a riveting chapter.
I'm
Looks
still
like
just
his
pissed
heart's
about
been
Tad. I can
changed.
hardly get through this
I know,
thing.
I
I'm so
know.
excited. But this guy's an asshole too, and I'm looking forward to seeing him being heartbroken.
Please support us on Patreon.
Just kidding.
Okay, well, chapter 5, we're going to have to do it next week, so I don't have another one
I
in
do
me
not
right
have
now.
it in me. I need to like rollerblade dance
I
out some
am
feelings.
upset.